Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Ask Me Monday. This is the disembodied voice of Vicki Howell. Today, I thought we would get fearsome with finger knitting, and so you'll just be seeing my fingers today, shaking things up here on Ask Me Monday. Of course, as always, if you're watching here on Facebook, please let me know where you're watching from and what you made over the weekend. If you're watching later on YouTube, I'd also love that. And I encourage that you come to at Vicki Howell on Facebook to participate live every Monday at noon Central. Okay, we are getting very close to Halloween, so I thought today we would do something just for the kids in your life. I mean, adults, please, by all means, if you're into it, you should also do this too. But I thought this was something that you could save if, depending where you're watching in the world, the kids might be in school right now, but you could save this video and make it with them when they get home. All right, so googly eyes are super in right now. So these are some eyes that I found at a craft store, but you can get all different kinds on the interwebs, and you can get really big ones. And you can make these stems that you stick in a vase so that they stare at you creepily. If creepy eyes are not your gig, you can also do that with really anything that can be made in this round shape. This is a cute little pumpkin stem. If you didn't put the face on this, this could also work for just Thanksgiving if you're here in the States or in Canada. Well, Canada, your Thanksgiving already passed. So if you're in the US or really anywhere just for fall, anywhere where you're, unless you're on the other side of the world and it's not fall, but you can save this for them too. But this basic flower, you can absolutely translate to any holiday. The idea is from my book, Finger Knitting Fun, and in that book, it's straight up flowers. So really you do you. But this is a really great way to get kids involved in yarn crafts and also decorating. And it's super fun. Like you can either put them in a vase, or how fun would it be if you just made these and wrapped them in some cool paper, and then maybe put like a black or an orange bow and handed them to someone that you were going to a Halloween party as an alternative to regular flowers, or to a teacher. Really fun and sustainable. So they're flowers that will not die and are super fun to have on a mantle or someplace. So let's dive in and show how you can make any form of little stick ornaments or decorations. All you need for this project is some form of yarn in colors that are thematic to Halloween. If you wanted to do ghouls, I would do gray, pumpkin, some form of orange. The eyeballs, I like doing white, but you do whatever sounds creepy to you. You'll also need some kind of dowels, or I just got sticks from our backyard, just sort of branches that you find laying around. You could use a plain old dowel as well, and you can either spray paint them. I spray painted this one gold, or you can just leave them natural like this one. Okay, so other than that, really it's just, if you're making the pumpkins, which we're showing today, you'll need some craft felt, scissors, and then either a glue gun or just some regular old craft glue will work perfectly well. All right, let's have a little finger knitting lesson. So I'm going to take some orange yarn here, because we're talking about the pumpkin, and you are going to want to lay the yarn across your non-dominant hand. So I happen to be right-handed, so this is I'm laying it over my left hand. I'm going to lay a strand, leaving a tail to weave in later, across my palm and in between the pointer and middle finger. And then I want to wrap a loop counterclockwise, and then weave it under and over the next 3 fingers. I just got a question from Beverly. She's asking where I got those big wiggly eyes. I got them from Joann Craft Store here in the States. Okay, so then I come around and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to weave all the way back. That's your setup. That's the only time you're going to use that action. So that's how you get your yarn onto your needles. Thank you, Nicole, for the comments on my goth nails. They're special for Halloween. I straight up copied my friend Brett Barra because her nails are always amazing. Okay, so now from here on, how you're going to finger knit is you lay the strand of the working yarn. The working yarn is what is attached to the skein or the ball. Then you want to take whatever loop is on the bottom and lift it up over the strand that's across your finger and let it drop off. And that is one stitch that's been finger knit. You're going to repeat the process all the way across, and you've just finger knit one row. To come back, you're going to lay the yarn across the opposite way and repeat the whole process. This is all there is to finger knitting, so it's really fun. So I'm coming back. It's a great way to introduce yarn crafts to kids, especially if they're not at this point where they're dexterous enough to really move into working with 2 needles for regular knitting. And you're going to keep going. Once you get a few rows done, you can take this tail and get it out of your way. You can just pull it, and you can see that the tube is starting to fold, or form rather. If I flip this over, this is actually going to be the right side, and slowly you'll see a tube growing behind. So let me just show you a couple more rows and then we'll move on. So again, you're going to lay the working yarn across your fingers. The bottom loops come over the top and drop off. When you get to the end of one direction, you lay the yarn over all the fingers again and move back. In my book, Finger Knitting Fun, there are loads of projects that you can make with just these tubes, so it's really fun to kind of experiment. Okay, so you can see how that's growing. So you would just continue in that manner until you had a really long strand, and the length will depend on how big you'd like your circle to be, so you can kind of mess with that. I believe these are in the 12-inch range. Okay, you're going to get something that looks like this long tube. Okay, so from here, you're going to need to get the yarn off your fingers. So I'm going to show you how you cast off, bind off, finish off, however you'd like to say it. The length that we want. And all I do is, there are different ways to get it off. You can straight up just cut the yarn and pull it through. I like it to be a little bit more finished than that, so what I do is I take the loop from the first finger, place it on the second, and then the bottom loop, raise it and drop it off. And then I just give a little tug and I repeat the process all the way across. So the next loop will move over to the ring finger, take the bottom loop, let it drop off. Next loop to the last finger, pull it over, let it drop off. And now you will have one loop left. You want to cut your yarn, but we want to leave a long tail because we're going to be using that to seam it shut. So I'll show you how to do that. But then you just take your tail and you pull it through. Chris is saying it looks like I-cord. It looks exactly like I-cord. So if you if you're a knitter and you would prefer to work on big chunky double pointed needles or circulars, you can create an I-cord and do the exact same thing. Okay, so once we have a strand, all we need to do is, well, you're going to have this end, and what I would do is I would kind of ditch this end, so weave it in a little bit. Let me grab my needle really quickly. So you can either ditch this now or you can weave it in later. It's totally up to you. And it doesn't need to be, since we're going to be rolling this up, it doesn't need to be any fancy way of weaving in. You don't even have to be careful about it. You're really kind of just getting it out of the way and also just making sure that you don't cut it off so short that your whole piece will unravel. And I like these needles. This one's by Knitter's Pride because they work with any weight of yarn because they have this like little loop. But any yarn needle will work. Okay, so from here, we're going to roll. So we're just going to roll into a spiral. And And you can see how it forms into a little kind of lollipop shape. Then you want to place your yarn needle again on the next tail, and you want to begin to seam it. So to do that, all that you need to do is just start sewing. There's really no magical method that you need to use. I just like to move across this way so that I get every layer. So let's see, I just did that one. Maybe I'll go under here. And I'm just going to keep, I'm choosing to whip stitch. You can really do whatever you'd like. And I just found, I got this particular yarn needle at my local yarn store, but it's by Knitter's Pride if you're in the US, or Knit Pro if you are elsewhere. I think there's another brand that makes one similar, but anyway, so you're just going to continue doing that until you have a full circle. And your circle towards the end will look a little something like this, or exactly like this rather. And the key is, it really doesn't have to be all of that great of a seaming job, but you just want to make sure, like I can see here, I haven't sewn yet. You want to make sure that all of the different layers of your spiral are relatively secure. Otherwise, when you're sitting them in a vase or they're on the stem, they're not going to stand up flat. They're going to look a little flimsy. I also recommend using a chunkier weight yarn, or else double or triple stranding thinner weight yarn for this, because again, you want a stable enough piece that it will be able to stand up on its own with the backing, of course, from your stem. Okay, so I finished that. I'm going to poke my yarn through. And actually, I do recommend having a glue gun. I said tacky glue at the beginning, and it will work for both things, but really it's better for the face part I'm about to show you. The glue gun for attaching it to a stem will work a lot better. So what you're going to do, if you're making the pumpkin one, you might want to, I painted the tip of mine green just so there would be a little stem. It's totally optional. And then what you'll want to do is hot glue this to the back of your stem. And then from here, you would just cut out regular craft felt, just that you would get at any craft store anywhere. You could probably use any black fabric, probably construction paper would work too. And you want to just cut out little triangles for the face, for the nose and the eyes, and then maybe just a little face like that, which would be cute. If you were doing it just for a fall decoration, maybe you completely skip the face and instead you put like a leaf here, or you just leave it plain. Really sweet and cute. And what you end up is a little guy like this. Or like I said, if you want to be creepy, you can do an eye, and you would just hot glue that to the center. And that one you would skip the painting. So easy, so simple, a great way to get the kids into yarn play, which, you know, is as a mom, that is really important to me. So I hope you enjoyed this craft. I'm really, you know, I love me the Halloween. So as you've noticed, I've been doing a ton of Halloween projects lately, especially using yarn. If you haven't already, check out my video on the DIY Network Facebook page on Macabre Macrame. I believe they also have that on their website. Stay tuned on Wednesday on the Joanne Crafts Facebook page at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. I will be on there moving from fingers up to arms, and I'm going to show you how to arm knit a really great last minute costume item that's super perfect for parents to go trick-or-treating with, or just for anyone to wear to the office. So stay tuned for that on Wednesday. On Friday, I will be back here on my own Facebook page for Makers with Vicki, and we'll have as always, a multi-craftual experience. I'm going to be working with wool felt for that one. And then, of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Knit Show with Vicki Howell on YouTube. You can find information at thenitshow.com, or just go to YouTube and search for the Knit Show with Vicki Howell. I am constantly uploading additional videos. Like we've got the full season, but there's also all kinds of bonus content that sort of speaks to whatever's going on right then. So I even did a live video from there for the first time. Had the camera facing not the best direction, but at least I've started there. So please subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of that. And for the winter holidays, please check out our handmade holiday episode. That's episode number 110. As always, thank you for starting your week with me. I am Vicki Howell, and I hope that you have a super creative, peaceful day. All right, take care. Bye.